Hello again and welcome to Woosha Wisdom, in which we look at counseling related issues. We've been looking at how we can use our negative emotions to bring change in our circumstance. I want to now turn our attention to how we can use this negative emotion to understand a little bit more about ourselves and how we can change ourselves, how we can grow as a person. And the principle that I want to put to you is this, is that behind those negative emotions is an unconscious goal. It's not a conscious goal. A conscious goal is something that we do consciously and deliberately, like today. By the end of today, I want to finish that assignment. An unconscious goal, we're not even aware that it's there. And behind that unconscious goal is a legitimate need. I want to talk specifically about anger. And by anger, I mean the whole category of irritation, frustration, anger, rage, that whole category. And I want to say this, is that when we get angry, we have a goal, an unconscious goal that is blocked. And that goal that is blocked is derived from a legitimate need. So for example, maybe you're angry because your spouse has behaved in an uncaring, unloving way. And you're angry. On the surface of it, that's the reason. But there's a goal there that's at work that is being blocked. And the goal is that they should love me like I need to be loved. They should love me as they should. And of course, behind that goal is a legitimate need. I have a legitimate need to be loved and valued. And I've turned it into a goal. I'm going to get that need met in my marriage, through my spouse. And it's not happening, and so I get angry. The goal is being blocked. Or maybe in your company, maybe the company has promised you a company car, and they're not giving it to you. They've been promising it to you for months, and it's not happening. And you get frustrated and angry. And there's a blocked goal there. They should give me the car. But there's a goal beneath that. And that goal perhaps is to get the need for recognition and status maybe met. Those are legitimate needs to be valued, but we've turned it into a goal. I'm going to get that need met in my work and through my company, and it's being blocked, and so I get angry. But what's the problem with having these unconscious goals? And the problem is that so often we unconsciously have goals that shouldn't be goals because we don't have control over them. I cannot make my spouse behave as he or she should. I cannot make the company give me the company car. I have legitimate needs, but I'm taking responsibility to get those needs met in other people. And I cannot make that happen. And so it sets me up for frustration and for anger. So what are we to do? And really, it's being aware that when I'm angry, when I'm frustrated, what is the goal that is at work here, to identify that goal, and then to ask ourselves, should that be a goal? And when we recognize that we've made a goal, we've taken responsibility to make something happen where we don't have the control, it's to turn that goal into a desire. I would like my spouse to behave in a certain way. I would like my company or my boss to behave in a certain way. But I'm not going to take responsibility to make it happen. I'm going to make it a desire, and I might even try and influence that. I might even talk to my spouse or to my boss or something like that. But I'm not going to make it my responsibility. Because when I make it my responsibility, when I make it a goal, it becomes a demand. You should, you must, you ought to do this or that. Because I have a need, a legitimate need, and I'm trying to get that need met in my spouse, in my marriage, or in my work, or my company. So I turn that goal into a desire. At the same time, I can turn to the Lord and say, Lord, I have a legitimate need to be loved. And I'm turning to you, and I want to know how loved I am by you. And Lord, I have a legitimate need to be valued and appreciated. And I have a legitimate need to make an impact in this world. But I'm going to turn to you to get that need met. So I turn my goal, my unconscious goal, into a desire. And then because I know that what drives that goal is a need, I turn to the Lord himself to get the need met. Let me give you a practical example. In Zimbabwe, the driving is not great, particularly by those commuters who so often ignore the rules of the road. And I used to get so angry about them. and would rant and rave inside of my car about what they should and shouldn't do. And so I had a block goal of obviously they should drive properly, but beneath that goal was a need for security, for safety. Just the other day, the set of lights right by our home, a woman was killed because of a commuter going through at a red light at speed. And so there's a real need there. But my problem is I was making it my business. I was taking responsibility to make sure they drive properly, and I can't do that. My anger was becoming my problem. It didn't influence them at all. And that's a kind of a practical example of what we do in life, folks. We take responsibility to make other people behave and do what they should do. And maybe they should do it, but we can't make it happen. And so to change that goal into a desire, maybe try and influence the situation, but make sure it's a desire, it's not a demand, and to go to the Lord to have the need met by Him, because He's the only one who can really meet our need. And we do that so often, folks. Think about your own lives when you get angry and frustrated. Sometimes there are real situations where people should behave in certain ways, and we make it our business to make sure they behave in those ways. And we can't do it. It's not in our control. And we set ourselves up for anger and frustration. So make it a desire. Make it a desire and go to the Lord for that need. I hope that helps.